This is the story of a classic sniper who, even blindfolded, can kill his target from miles away. This sniper was once a simple math teacher. He hated war and guns. But one day something happened in his life that transformed him from a decent teacher to a ruthless sniper. The story begins in a small village in Ukraine, where we are shown a small house. A couple lives happily in this house. The man's name is Mykola, and his wife's name is Nastya. Nastya was a drawing artist and carved wood into various statues. Mykola is a teacher and teaches math at a nearby school. He is a very good teacher, and all the children are very happy with him, except for one, Ivan. Ivan was a very rude boy. He would harass his teacher Mykola in class every day. Ivan belonged to a wealthy family. Since Mykola was a poor man, Ivan would often make fun of Mykola's looks and clothes. He hoped that Mykola would get fed up with his rudeness and attack him so that he could complain and get Mykola expelled from school. However, Mykola was a very calm person. One day while at school, he heard news on TV that Russia had attacked Ukraine, killing many soldiers and occupying large areas of Ukraine. When Mykola returned home that evening, he learned that his wife was pregnant. He was overjoyed, as he was about to become a father. The two celebrated this joy together. The next day, Mykola said goodbye to his wife and set off on his bicycle to teach the children at school. But while on the way, he saw two soldiers standing, lighting cigarettes, wearing a different uniform. The uniform was not at all typical of Ukrainian soldiers, and he found it strange. But Mykola thought that perhaps the government had changed the soldiers' uniforms. So Mykola paid no attention to it and quickly reached his school. But when he entered the school, he saw that the entire school was empty. Not a single child had come to school. This made him feel uneasy. Then he saw the news on TV, which reported that Russian soldiers had entered Ukraine to occupy it, and now he realized that the soldiers he had seen on the road were actually Russian. This made him worried about his wife, who was home alone. He immediately got on his bicycle and ran home, but it was too late. When Mykola reached home, he saw that those two soldiers were beating his wife badly. Mykola tried to save his wife, but those soldiers beat him too. Mykola requested them to please not beat my wife, but the soldiers did not listen to him and continued beating both of them. After some time, a Russian soldier searched Mykola's house, and when he did not find anything useful inside, he got angry and set Mykola's house on fire and started leaving from there. Now seeing her house burning, Nastya became red with anger and picked up a stone and started hitting those Russian soldiers. Seeing this, a soldier opened fire, killing Nastya instantly. Mykola was devastated to see his wife die. He rushed to her side, took her in his arms, and wept profusely. A few hours later, two Ukrainian soldiers approached Mykola. Seeing Mykola's wife dead, they were deeply saddened, and they then began digging a grave for Mykola's wife. After digging a grave, they told Mykola to bury her there. Mykola was utterly devastated by his wife's death. He was now completely alone. The Russian soldiers not only killed his wife, but also burned Mykola's unborn child in his home. So he was burning with vengeance and had to kill the Russian soldier who had shot his wife. The only way to take revenge on that soldier was to join the Ukrainian army. That's why he requested the two soldiers. The two soldiers then agreed to Mykola's request and take him to the military base in their car. When they reach the military base, their superior becomes angry with Mykola and refuses to enlist him in the army, suspecting him of being a spy. When the senior gathered detailed information about Mykola from the two soldiers, Mykola explained how the Russian soldiers brutally killed his wife and burned down his house. So now I have no reason to live. He assured the senior that he wanted to kill the Russian soldiers and liberate this country. Hearing this, the senior agreed to recruit Mykola into the Ukrainian army, and his training began the next day. Since Mykola was a commoner, he found training difficult. He had studied math all his life and had no knowledge of guns. While all the soldiers were assembling the guns, Mykola was very slow compared to them, and he was the last to assemble one. Seeing this, the officer felt that Mykola would never be a good soldier, but Mykola refused to give up and remained focused on his training. One night during training, Mykola tells his superior not to call him by his first name because his code name is Raven. Everyone laughs at him, and the superior explains that code names aren't easily earned. They require a soldier to perform a significant feat for their country. Mykola doesn't take this negatively and begins to work harder. One day, the superior informs all the soldiers that they have a shortage of snipers and that they need to increase their numbers to combat the Russians. The superior asks everyone, "How many of you want to become snipers?" Hearing this, some people stand up, and Mykola is among them, as he also wanted to become one. Seeing Mykola, All the soldiers burst into laughter. His superior tells Mykola, "You're not ready to be a sniper yet. You can't even assemble and disassemble a gun properly. So becoming a sniper is out of the question." Mykola replies, "I can be a good sniper. I just need one chance to prove myself." Hearing this, the senior tells Mykola, "Okay, here you go. You have to assemble this gun in just 20 seconds." To prove himself, Mykola blindfolds himself and quickly disassembles and reassembles the gun, taking only 18 seconds. Everyone is astonished by Mykola's agility. Those who were laughing at him earlier now start applauding him. Seeing his abilities, he is also included in sniper training. During training, Mykola is given an older model gun, while the others are given new modern weapons. Seeing this, Mykola also demands modern weapons. The senior there tells him that if he wants that gun, he'll have to prove himself. Now Mykola has no other option, so he takes whatever he can find and leaves. During training, the senior tells everyone that no matter what situation a sniper faces, he never moves an inch from his position and remains focused on his target. To practice this, the senior fires at everyone, and any sniper who moves from their position is eliminated from the training. But when it's Mykola's turn, he doesn't move at all and holds his target, thus passing the training. In the next training, the sniper is shown their target only once, and then their eyes are covered with a blackboard. During this, they have to guess and shoot their target. Some of the remaining soldiers pass this test, but when it was Mykola's turn, he missed his target slightly, failing the test because the gun he had was very old and made it very difficult to hit it accurately. The next training was even more challenging for the snipers, as they had to shoot their targets under the light of flares, even in the dark of night. The senior fired a flare, and everyone took aim, but none hit the target. Everyone else had already fired, only Mykola didn't fire. He realized that aiming directly under the light of the flare was impossible. So when the senior fired the flare, instead of firing, he estimated the distance to his target, using the flare's light and, using his knowledge of mathematics, made a perfect shot. His senior and the other soldiers were astonished. No one had ever completed this task before. Only Mykola did it. The senior was very impressed with Mykola and gave him his desired code name, Raven. Days passed like this, and Mykola continued to put his heart and soul into his training, and finally the day came when the results of his training were to be announced. Here the colonel saluted Mykola and told him that he had passed the test. A few days later, the colonel came to Mykola and told him to pack his things because they had to go on a mission. And this is where the real story began. Mykola's team quickly arrived at the location, took aim, and were about to kill the Russian soldiers when they spotted a vehicle in the distance, heading toward the checkpoint, prompting the colonel to order everyone not to shoot. Meanwhile, Russian soldiers stopped the vehicle and asked those inside to come out. They checked their passports and searched the entire vehicle. When everything was clear, the soldiers granted them permission to leave but kept their passports. When the soldiers demanded their passports back, they were brutally beaten. Seeing this, the colonel ordered his soldiers to open fire. In one swift movement, all the snipers eliminated their targets, thus completing their first mission. After the mission, when everyone returned to base, Mykola noticed that many of his comrades were missing. He was perplexed, wondering where everyone had gone. When he asked where the rest of his comrades were, he was told that they had been sent on another mission. The next day, Mykola received news that many of his comrades had been killed during the mission, all by a Russian sniper. The sniper's name was Siri, and he was Russia's best sniper. A few days passed, and Mykola set off with his comrades on their next mission. Upon reaching the location, they laid mines all around and took up their positions. Shortly after, Russian soldiers arrived, accompanied by Ivan. Ivan was the same boy who used to harass Mykola at school and had now joined the Russian army. But when the colonel gave the order to shoot, Mykola became a little nervous, not wanting to kill his student. But Mykola set aside his emotions and shot the landmines, causing a powerful explosion that killed all the Russian soldiers, including Ivan. After everything was under control, the colonel angrily asked Mykola, "What were you thinking when I gave the order to shoot?" To which Mykola replied, "One of those Russian soldiers was my student. I didn't want to kill him." The colonel explained to Mykola that he shouldn't be saddened by Ivan's death, as Ivan wasn't his student, but his enemy. Joining the Russian army was Ivan's own decision, so he shouldn't feel bad for him. After completing the mission, they all returned to their base camp. The colonel had complete trust in Mykola. He spent most of his time with Mykola. The colonel showed Mykola his family photo and told him that his family consisted of 3 members. His 2 daughters were unaware that their father was a soldier. "I've told them I'm a businessman, and my wife hasn't told the children I'm a soldier until today." Here, Mykola also told the colonel his entire story about how the Russian soldiers brutally killed his wife. Mykola became very emotional during this time, but the colonel calmed him down. The next morning, they all left for their next mission. This mission was very important because they had received information that a group of Russian soldiers would be passing through that road. The colonel and Mykola quickly reached the location and took up their positions. After a while, they saw two Russian soldiers waiting for the rest of their team. Mykola noticed that one of the soldiers was the one who had shot his wife. Mykola asked for permission to fire, but the colonel refused. Mykola was now seething with anger because the soldier standing in front of him had killed his wife, and he had joined the army so he could avenge her. So he asked for permission to fire again, but once again the colonel refused. But Mykola, unable to control his emotions, fired. The soldier died instantly. But the worst part was that the Russian soldiers had discovered their location. The colonel asked Mykola, "What have you done?" But the worst part was that Russia's most dangerous sniper, Siri, had also taken up his position and now knew their location. The colonel knew Siri was nearby, so he began searching for her. But before he could locate her, Siri delivered a headshot, killing the colonel instantly. Mykola realized the grave mistake he had made. Meanwhile, the Russian soldiers began heavy fire and bombardment of Mykola. Seeing the situation worsening, Mykola decided to retreat. He picked up the colonel's body and began retreating from his position. He quickly made it out of enemy territory and headed straight to his base. Mykola was deeply saddened by the colonel's death and blamed himself for it. He vowed to kill Siri and avenge the colonel's death. Soon, Mykola received news of two Russian snipers and immediately set out on his next mission. He reached their location, took aim, and quickly killed the sniper. However, while engaging the other sniper, Mykola was shot in the arm by another sniper. He refused to give up and managed to kill the other sniper as well. Now, being severely injured, he retreated to a secret base and began to rest his body. Meanwhile, he received a call from an army major who informed Mykola that they had located the sniper who killed the colonel. Mykola then returned to his base where the major began briefing everyone about the sniper. The major explained that the sniper's name was Siri and that he was Russia's best sniper. His aim had never been wrong. The major explained that Siri first kills Ukrainian soldiers, and then videos of the attack are uploaded to social media to make the Ukrainian soldiers surrender. They then form two teams and proceed to Siri's location. According to the plan, their first team will attack the Russian soldiers from the front, and while they are engaged in this attack, their second team will attack them from behind. After the entire plan was finalized, they all headed for the location. Upon reaching the location, all the snipers took up their positions and aimed. Meanwhile, Mykola also discreetly entered the building, where he spotted two Russian soldiers engaged in conversation. Without delay, Mykola killed them both and proceeded further into the building. He then signaled his team as planned, and upon receiving the signal, the snipers stationed there killed all the soldiers. Meanwhile, Siri noticed that none of his comrades were reporting to him. He sensed something was amiss, so he went to the roof of the building, where a Russian sniper was already present. However, upon reaching the top, he found the sniper dead. This filled him with panic, and Siri realized that Ukrainian soldiers had surrounded him from all sides. He contacted his base for backup, but it would take another 10 minutes for the backup team to reach him. Hearing this, he quickly returned to his position and began searching for the Ukrainian soldiers. But then he noticed a small statuette on the table in front of him. Before Siri could think anything, Mela attacked him and stabbed him to death. Mela threw a grenade near him, killing the last sniper. A short while later, Siri's backup team arrived, unaware that Siri was dead. So when they called Siri, Mykola answered the call and told him they were all about to die. With that, he shot the truck driver. The gunfire sent the Russian soldiers into a panic, jumping out of the truck. Unaware that Ukrainian snipers were lying in wait for them, the Ukrainian soldiers opened fire, killing each Russian one by one. A few days after this mission, Mykola visited his wife's grave, reassured by the promise he had made to her. He had killed all those who had killed his wife and the colonel. Here, Mykola vows to serve his country until his last breath. And with that, he leaves and the film ends. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel and like it.